saw it exactly. So, cosine A, multiplied by cosine A, take away sine A times sine A. And the way that we write things that are squared in sines and cosines, I suppose we could go parenthesis cosine squared, subtract sine. That's the way they will have to be in your calculator when you get them to calculate. But the way that we write them is this way. That is known as the double angle formula. And then we go back and remember that identity that you had, the very first one that we wrote down just today. Nope, very first one.
Cosine squared of theta plus cosine squared of theta equals 1.
Yep. And recalling that, here's a little cut off, but can you tell these the same thing? So what I'm going to do is, instead of putting in the cosine, I'm going to grab this and put him on top of it. So I make the cosine squared go away. Everybody okay with my algebra on that one?
Now it's 1 minus sine squared of A minus sine squared of A.
Which is how many sine squareds? So we would generally write this as 1 minus 2 sine squared A. Which means we can say that the cosine of A equals one minus 2 sine squareds or if we start putting them together, we could also say that he equals this and we can get a third one if we were really clever. And sometimes we need to be really clever. Now, am I jumping around too much with my cut and paste to have this make sense? Okay, so let me just, from here on out, I'll just write it down and not do cut and paste.
Well, I mean, like, it makes sense.
But it's hard for you to take notes when you do that. Yes. sometimes beyond good.
I meant no, sorry. I said it backwards.
Oh,
Yes, it makes sense, no, not too hard.
okay. So what we could have done is we could have taken the same thing, and I could have said that the cosine squared, oh, I think, yeah. I could have said the sine squared. And then I could have replaced it and said that I would have had that. Then I could have said that the cosine of the double angle is cosine squared minus cosine squared A. When you look at this negative sign, he's got to go two places. He's got to go here and here both. So he would become -1 add cosine squared. How many cosine squareds do I have? So let's summarize what the double angle for cosine will be. He could be a cosine squared and sometimes that's helpful, but most of the time it helps to know that he could be either 1 minus 2 sine squareds, and that way if they only give me sine, I can just plug it in. Or we could have said 2 cosine squareds minus 1 would be that. And that way, if they gave me the number for cosine, I would use that equation. Those are the new things for today. Let's look at some problems.